Welcome, Sports Nation, to Sports DTM, the sports channel where we call sports down the middle. You can expect the latest in sports news, views, and reviews from our resident analysts. No sports topic is too controversial, and no team or player is above criticism. So just smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on our balanced offering of riveting sports content. And don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Welcome to Sports DTM.
All 2 games in this window so far, 2 losses. Your take. I mean, you've had time to actually go over it in your head. Why are we in this state?
I think what we've got to do is we've got to look at the 2 games in isolation and see what's happened during those games. And I think with 8 minutes to go, we were in a very good position against Mexico, having taken the lead, and against Panama, taking the lead as well. So I think we've got to put those things into perspective, that our game management hasn't been great. But what we have done is we've gone forward and gone 1-0 up in both games. And we've fought resiliently for most parts of those games. So it's not a great situation to be in, but we find ourselves in it, and it's told a lot of stories about the players that we've had, the players that we have, and the situation that we find ourselves in now.
All right, let's anybody have any questions for Paul? You can just put your hand up and I will identify you. Okay. Livingston Scott from the Gleaner. Go ahead, man.
Yes, Coach. Good afternoon, Coach. Not been the best result over the last 2 games. Just tell me personally what's your objective for this game, and what personally would you like to achieve out of this game?
I'd like to achieve, obviously, the win. I'd like to achieve the win. It's really important that the boys go out there and try to achieve the win. I mean, I think on both the previous games we've tried to do that and come up short. We've had, like I said to you just before to Earl, game management shortcomings. I'd like to see us manage the game a lot better, especially if we go in front and manage the situation where we don't allow teams to come back into it. So I'm looking for a performance. And I'm looking for the team to manage games better and improve in that area and just be a little bit more on the front foot. We were on the front foot for the first part of the game and then allowed Panama to come into it. So I'd like to see more periods where we're on the front foot, especially being at home.
Any plans to make any sort of adjustment based on the last 2 games that you have seen?
Well, we're always looking at well, strategically, obviously there's things we can look at without letting out too much information for the opposition. Yes, there are things that we can change. We can change the shape, the structure of the team. Also, we can change the personnel. So there are lots of choices there for us, and I think that there are people, who maybe haven't featured as much, could look to feature. However, it's just about planning, going into the game and getting through this training session, and then we'll know where we are.
But certainly, Coach, what do you think it's really going to take to achieve the result we need tomorrow, to get that win there tomorrow?
Again, the game management. I think if you can go 2-1 up, if you can go 1-0 up in both games, and from a winning position find yourself in a losing position, then I think that's down to game management. So we have to address that in the little bit of time that we have, and we have to address it when we're speaking to the players, and then again we have to address it in the games. So I think that's going to need to be looked at. We need to also keep fighting towards the end, because we have been letting goals in the final periods of games. So we need to address all those things for us to be successful.
Final, Coach, any regrets not having Grant at this stage? You have been our shield for our defense and probably our most battle-hardened player. Think any regrets not having him to help you see out these games at this stage?
Listen, Brunt is a good player, and we respect, and he's one of us, so we respect him. I think having regrets would be the disservice of somebody else. I think the player probably who's come in and filled his shoes came in and gave a great performance in the 25 minutes that he was on in Kevin Stewart. He's a good player, and I think that he can add value to what we're doing. I think if the fact that we've probably lost 2 games, I don't think it's down to the inclusion or the exclusion of any one man. I think we've been in a single position of winning, and I think the whole group, all of us, need to take responsibility for that. And I don't think one player would have made a difference in that scenario or those scenarios.
Anything about Costa Rica, coach? They have not been doing too bad over their last 2 games. Any thoughts on them?
Good team. We've seen what they're about. We know that they can.
All right, cool. Yeah, let's see.
Please turn your mic off for those people who are not. Please turn your mic off. Go ahead, coach.
Yeah, they're a good team. You know, the one good thing about it is we know what they're about. We've played them many times over the last, 6 months, 7 months. So we know what they're about. We know what to expect. So hopefully we can get on the front foot being at home and really take the game to them.
All right, thanks, coach. All the best.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Job Nelson. Job?
Yeah, sorry about that a while ago. Coach, we haven't been able to successfully keep possession of the ball for any period of time. What do you credit this to? And without giving too much, I don't know if you want to say this before the match, but I would appreciate something. How do we fix that?
Well, I think that when I don't like to make excuses at all. However, when you look at a makeup of a group, and if you were to look at the first group that I had against Peru, I had 7 days with those guys implementing a philosophy and a style of play to a group of young players who were very much open and bright-eyed to the ideas. And we had spent a lot of time together. It's very difficult to have players from different areas of the world come in and find a style of play that quickly to get them to have possession against a team or 2 teams that are very, very good at having possession of the ball. We can only try to emphasize that we want them to have possession, want them to relax with the ball, want them to spend more time on the ball. And, that's in the plan. And if the game throws up a different plan, so to speak, scenario, then those players will execute it as they see fit. Now, yeah, we want to possess the ball more, but we want to win the game as well. And sometimes winning the game becomes more important than how we play because we want 3 points and there's so much pressure involved. Again, we'll do it in training. We'll try to encourage the players to keep the ball because that's the way how I want to see the game played. However, it's very difficult in a short space of time to achieve that.
All right, follow up, coach. We are in a very precarious situation. We are almost out. But how do you motivate the players to keep going in the game for the game tomorrow so that we can get the ultimate from it?
Like I said before, we've been 1-0 up in both games. There's something that we're doing. We're planning. The planning. I'm perfectly happy with the planning. We've gone in games. We've covered every angle that we can cover from a planning perspective. We want to give the players as much information as we can going into the game, and we just got to remind them that in both games they've gone ahead and to keep the same approach. They've managed pressure situations very well. When Damien Lowe got sent off, we couldn't legislate for that. However, the players, they really fought hard for that, which is another difficult thing to achieve when they're not used to being with each other that much. And it's just about making sure that we go and play for pride and really try to represent the Jamaican people and see what they want, and achieve what they want, and play for themselves as well. So I think the players will be up for it tomorrow for sure.
All right. Is that all, Joe?
Yes, sir. But no.
All right. Anybody else? Is that anybody else with any question for the coach? Could just go ahead if is that Mr. Burnett? Go ahead, man.
Okay, there's a question from Roger Haspel. Is there anything that you would like to take from the last two games as positives going forward, and what would those be? The fact that they've got the resilience to hold out against a good Mexican team and the togetherness that was shown was key. Also, the fact that we've gone 1-0 up in both games has shown that the players have got it in them to go ahead and score goals. The disappointment that the players shown in their reflections has been quite, because that they care. So there's lots of positives, and there's lots of positive young players in and around the group. And we do have to have one eye towards the future with what we're doing. And there's some really positive young men in and around not only this squad, but the squad that I went to Peru with as well.
Do we have anybody else? All right, so I want to say thank you.
No. Job again.
Yeah, all right, Job. Go ahead.
Job, coach, we have right through the campaign, we have gone ahead in more matches than, because you mentioned since your tenure, we have gone ahead twice and we have gone ahead before. What do you credit the luck? You mentioned it somewhere at the top of your speech, but what do you credit that to? What is the fact that we can't hold on? Any specific thing you see that is causing that problem? Fitness? You tell me what is the situation. What do you think?
Yeah, it could be fitness. I mean, there's lots of different things that go into a winning position to a losing position in a game, and when it happens consistently, then you can point to something, and part of that points to the last 10, 20 minutes in the game, and that's been happening before my tenure. So that's a problem that we need to speak about. I mean, that may be down to fitness, it may be down to concentration, and for the most part, for a lot of the part, it's down to individual error. And that's something that we cannot really legislate for, an individual error. I mean, if you see the Mexico game, there were two errors that you saw that or may not have seen, that reflected in us losing the game. Again, against Panama, another error when we were in control of the game, so to speak. And yeah, it's just something that we have to address. And focus on the players' concentration as well, because there's lots of different areas where you can point the finger at, but last 10 minutes is definitely something. So it may be fitness. There's another question. Sorry, go on.
Will we see an all-out attack tomorrow, knowing that we are in this position?
Well, we'll definitely see. I hope so. I hope so. At this moment in time, we're still yet to have a training session. So there's a few things that we need to try out in the hour that we have. And we'll be looking forward to trying to win the game, of course.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Just one last one, Mr. Bailey. Coach, what kind of mentality you're instilling in the players for this specific match?
Like I said, the game management shortcomings is something that will be part of my training session today. We cannot go the game ahead and then lose the game. It's what I did tell them in both games is a clean sheet wins the game. If you can guarantee yourself a clean sheet, then if we score, then we win the game. And the players kind of take that mentality on. And obviously, when you get tired, sometimes going down, one mistake, we're getting punished harshly for it. Sometimes when other teams make mistakes, we're not punishing people as harshly as we're getting punished. So that will be part of my training session, just to give the players a reminder of from winning positions. Let's stay in the lead and do everything to not let a team score on us.
All right, thank you, sir. Let's move now to Daniel Blake. Daniel, talk to us.
Hi, afternoon, Coach. Two things. Are you concerned that in the next set of World Cup qualifiers, if we're out, that the president said that we may have to refrain from calling UK-based players to the team to save money? Are you concerned that you won't be able to pick your strongest team going forward? I'll let you answer that question before I ask my second one.
Okay, so I think what happens is we have to reflect on all our performances, including me and my performance. And what that means is, since I've played, I think probably the best performance-wise, to answer Roger's question as well about players handling the ball under pressure. A lot of good performances have come from the Peru squad. So yes, if we can't call on players from there, this is going to be a long-term thing where there's going to be a certain rebuilding have to go on at some stage, and we've got to see it that way. Like we say, if we can't call, we can only operate under the constraints that we're placed under. If we can call players who add value to what we're doing, excellent. But if we can't, then we just have to operate under the constraints that we're operating under.
Follow-up question, Daniel?
Yeah. My last question is Darren Mattox, national striker, on his Instagram. He has been implying that he should have been part of the team. Two players, O'Neal Fish and Javon Watson, who have been a part of recent squads, basically agreed and suggested that some team selections have almost divided the team. So I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you cannot. I mean, I haven't seen the social media that you're requesting of, so I don't know what context that's in. So it'd be unfair for me to comment on that and comment on anybody's comments on the squad that's been picked. You can only pick 23. The 23 that we have picked have, we've learned things about the people and the players in the squad. So you can only pick those people and look to move forward from there. There was always going to be people who were disappointed, and always going to be some people who were happy with their selection. So it's something that we've gained a lot of information from it. I mean, like I said to you before, I cannot speak on the social media comment because I don't know what context it's in, and I think it's unfair to comment on any of the comments that's been made.
All right. Final question from Ryan Peter. Final question. One question. I will let the coach go.
All right, thank you. You had mentioned the rebuilding process. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. What does that look like for you, whether you're still involved or whether from an outside perspective?
Well, yeah, I mean, like you say, for me, I'm in here for the long term, and my focus is very much on getting Jamaica to play a certain way, getting Jamaica to produce young players who can play anywhere in the world, and obviously play here and be good enough for the national team to play at international level. So you have to rebuild. You have to rebuild that focus and those types of players. And there are players that are here. The players at Peru showed you that, and there's players in this squad that have shown that they can play at the level. It's about sorting through those players and seeing which players can come in and add value. And that's the thing. When you rebuild, you have to rebuild by adding value to what you've already got.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. I'm not sure if any ladies are there, but thanks anyway. Really appreciate it. And we see you tomorrow at the game. Thanks again.
Thanks, guys.
And by the way, the training is at 6 this afternoon. So the first 15 minutes will be open to the media, and then you have to make your exit. So that's how it is. All right. Thanks again, man.